Just next tell them say prayer works. When the heathens are trying for you, once you die hurt, the most I alert. If I them alone, them.
Yes, so wagwan, viewers and subs. Bless up, just bless us. I check in. Come for share one video with you guys, where this is the Minister of Health, Christopher Tufton, alongside Spice, Jamaica dancehall recording artist. Site. So viewers and subs, I'm not keep up no time. I want to just listen and watch the live here site. Soon forward, up top.
Is not to decide when they come. That's national security. Our responsibility is that when they come, we take care of things to make sure that they're not affecting negatively anybody in the population.
Right. I've been asking you a lot of questions because my DM is full. You can imagine the amount of people who are reaching out to me. Is there anything that I am missing that you want to elaborate on? Something that I probably never asked you that you want to get out to the general public?
Well, you know, Spice, thanks for that.
Before I go back into the question.
I just want to use your platform, your celebrity status, your influence, the people that follow you and depend on you to give them advice.
Right.
To say that, firstly, this is not a disease that we should panic over, but we should be concerned about. So we should always say, think about it, that is something that we're going to have to work to overcome. Everyone counts. All hands on deck. No individual, no group can solve the problem. And so it is so important that we remember the personal responsibility. And the message is always out there. It's about keeping your sanitization, hands, washing hands with soap, the sanitizers, and now is the time where you must do it every time you move and every time you touch something. So you buy a little stack and carry it with you. The social distancing, 6 feet apart. So you're in a group. You must understand that the virus is transmitted based on close contact. So deal with that. We can't, the police can't enforce that to the full. If you in yourself don't realize that you have that role to play, then you're going to make a mistake. Because as a society, we are a touchy-feely people, right? We love interacting. We love the vibes that we build when we're together. And that's not a bad thing. But now is the time to understand that we have to change that approach to solve the problem. So even a little hug up and the kiss on the cheek.
All of that has to change.
That is good, and that shows friendliness and warmth. We can't do that now because
no is not the time.
Exactly. So we have to take a break from that. And then finally, when the government issues some advice about the lockdown or the curfew and so on, we don't do it to hurt people. We do it to actually protect people. Because we have seen, Spice, you have seen it, I'm sure, countries that not managing it properly. And you have seen the body bags, the deaths, the devastation, the sadness. We don't want our grandmothers and grandfathers or parents.
Not at all.
So my advice to the population is that we're going to have to hunker down a little bit, work together, follow the instructions, be orderly. Sometimes we kind of get a little indiscipline as Jamaicans, you know that, right?
Right.
Get rid of the indiscipline this time around, and let us try and overcome this. But finally, and very importantly, I have no doubt that we're going to get back to normal and do very well as a people, because we're a strong people, and we can overcome and will overcome. I want to just correct something, by the way. There's no COVID in Hanover. Somebody just told me. I was thinking of another parish. So you're right. There's no COVID currently in Hanover. No COVID case.
Okay, great. Because this person left a long message on my social media with her concern about Hanover. She said, if we can't lock down Hanover, nobody can come to Hanover. Is there anything that can be done where, people traveling to them family and stuff, since as the virus is not there and we're trying to eliminate the spread of the virus? Can you close certain areas so that people don't go into the area? Like if you're not from Hanover, you're not supposed to be in Hanover.
Well, can I tell you, in some countries, and I can't rule out that that won't happen in Jamaica. Again, it's not my decision alone, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. But in some countries, they shut down entire states. I mean, there are places that in New York, you know, places that were once very busy that they just shut down. So it's not impossible to say shut down the whole country for a while. But of course, we have to make provisions if the Prime Minister and the others were to do it. Because as we said earlier, people still have to eat and they can't shop for an entire week. But yes, we can shut down parishes just as we have done St. Catherine. So basically what we're saying is all persons in St. Catherine should not leave the parish of St. Catherine. We could do it for Hanover, we could do it for St. James or anywhere else, or we could do across the board, or we could do just a community like we did Bull Bay, 7 Miles, and Cornpeace in Clarendon.
Because what they are saying, they don't want you guys to wait until the suddenly to lock down the place, just as when, you know, a person may reach to expose everybody. If it's not there, then it's possible that you still can lock down the area so that it does not go there or continue to spread. So maybe you could raise that concern.
That's an intelligent question, whoever asked it, because the truth is, the medical team, the doctors who assess and analyze the situation will tell you that even though you don't get a lot of cases, the virus lags for about 2 weeks. So the virus could be under the surface, spreading. And so someone may say, why are you locking down Hanover when you don't have a case? Or you lock down St. Thomas when you only have 2 cases? One of the good things about the public health people is that they do something called contact tracing. Contact tracing means once you have a positive case, they track down everybody who was linked to that positive case.
Right.
They track down where they went, and Jamaican people travel a lot. We move from parish to parish. We're like
most
nomads,
definitely.
right? We have a girlfriend over in another parish. We have a cousin in the other parish. So someone who is positive, one of the things I've noticed is that when you contact trace all the people they have been in touch with, sometimes all 6 parishes they've got to over the last week. And therefore, they expose these parishes. So even though you don't have a case, the contact trace could show that we may need to take action based on who they have been in touch with and where they have gone. And so we could actually do that because the virus is there, even though it's not showing.
How long does it take for you to, after you test for the COVID-19, how long do you take to get the results?
So normally we would say within 24 hours, but we could do it. I think it's important that as one on the front line, you know, I have to go out there and motivate the people who are on the ground. And so I put myself at risk, but I understand that's the nature of the work, right? So I did my test, and I must tell you, it's not pleasant, but it's doable.
Your test is not pleasant?
Yeah, it's not very pleasant, put it that way. But I'm not discouraging. If you have to do it, you have to do it. They put a swab, they call it. It's like a Q-tip that you use to clean your ears, right? And they put it in both of your nostrils, and it goes right up to the back, almost the back of your throat or the back of your head.
Wow.
So it goes right through the passage, and then they twirl it a little to pick up the substance around here, and then they put one in your throat through your mouth. So when I did the one in the nose here, first of all, I don't really like going to the doctor, right? So I shut my eyes. It's like when I do a blood test, I don't look at the needle because I'm afraid.
Right.
but I mean, when they put it and it hits the back, you know, the nurse said to me, I just want to tell you that you're going to see twinkly stars when it touches the back. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But it was a little uncomfortable.
It sounds like it bad. It sounds bad to me. So because I don't want to reach to that stage, I think it's best me stay home so that I don't have to be
but you know,
exposed.
The staff, the nurses and doctors are amazing. Our Jamaican
I'm so proud. Can I tell you how proud I am? Let's talk about the people who have recovered, because you have a lot of people who have also recovered. So I want to commend the frontline workers and all the nurses, doctors, everyone in Jamaica. I am extremely proud of the work that they are putting in. So let us talk about the recoveries. And I also have a question I don't want to forget. Meanwhile, you're talking about the recoveries. I want you to also elaborate. When we see, they say Jamaica now has 160 cases and 25 recovered. Is it that I must take away the 25 from the 160?
Right. So when we, yes, well, we track the 100 and odd cases, and that is all.
And that would be the total amount.
That's the total amount that have gotten COVID.
Okay.
The recover we keep as a separate category. So we have just over 20. I think it's about 21 or 22. I need to check, but it's over 20 recovered. And we have 163, I think, the last time I saw. I know we're supposed to get an update shortly. Maybe after this program, I'll get that. And we try to keep the public informed. Now, we have lost, unfortunately, 5 persons. 5 have died. What it shows is that most people recover from COVID-19. Most persons.
That's
and like
good.
I said, people who die, unfortunately, are normally the older population and people who have underlying sicknesses. So, you know, as I say, hypertension, diabetes. I mean, we have had a 79-year-old who passed. He had some other conditions. We have had a 40-year-old, but he had some other underlying conditions.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's so important that if you have a situation already, you have to be extra careful. The kids tend to get through very quickly and easily, but very importantly, one of the reasons why we suspend school is that the kids, while they will overcome COVID for the most part, they are very big spreaders of it, because they, you know, our children, they don't necessarily wash hands and take precaution. They jump and play around and touch everything.
Most definitely, and then they bring it home.
And they bring it right home and they give it to grandmother, grandfather, mommy, daddy. And so what the history has shown us is that kids do fairly well if they have it, but they spread it very rapidly because they pick it up and they don't observe a lot of the hygiene practices that we say is important. So will they be
right? We have to teach them, because I constantly teach my kids not to touch, not to do. They have a tendency to touch everything, but they are kids, so I understand. So is it safe for me to ask you, will school be open back on the 20th of April as was said before, or this is also something we have to take into consideration and maybe push back?
Well, the Minister of Education, Minister Samuda, will speak more definitive to that, but I believe I can frankly say that it's unlikely. But because it's really a matter of how you manage the risk, and we're already close to that, and we believe we still have some ways to go to overcome the challenge. I mean, we have the homeschool that's taking place. It's working for the most part, based on the reports I've heard from the minister. But, you know, it's important that we protect our children, and it's important that we protect those who they go home to. And as you can see, Spice, throughout the world, many schools have been suspended until the new term, which is in September.
Here, they have suspended it for the rest of the year here in Georgia.
Exactly. So it is one of the strategies, because our population at that level, that cohort, young people, are massive and they move around a lot. And remember now, the solution is to prevent movement. I know it's rough for them. One of the things that we have to encourage is, what do they do at home? Because they're not accustomed to it. Just like us as adults who go to work. So apart from the school work, one of the things we have to promote is, how do we keep them engaged, keep them occupied, you know, and that's something that we all have to play an important role in, giving them a little more time.
All right. I think I've covered most things. I'm trying to read on social media now, because they're saying we're ignoring them and not answering questions. So if people within your office can help me as well to go through some of the questions that are coming up on our screen, it would be good for us to answer from the public. Okay. Someone in your office can also help. My son not going to school. Someone is asking if you can contract the COVID-19 virus twice. So if you catch it before, if you can catch it again.
Right. So, you know, it's a new virus. They call it the novel coronavirus. It's from a family of viruses that have been around for a while. what is coming out is that there are countries now reporting that persons can catch it twice, but it's very rare. The general view is that if you get it, you have resistance to it, and you're unlikely to catch it in the immediate future. The studies are now still being done to decide whether or not you lose that resistance or immunity in a year or 2 years. But because it is new, the decision around that is not yet the case. So I've read in a few cases where a person says they have caught it again. But for the most part, once you have it, it seems as if you have built up enough antibodies not to have it, at least in the immediate future. One of the things that I should mention to Spice is that once you have it, you have to ensure that it's out of your system and it doesn't have a relationship to how you feel. So one of the things that we have done is we test persons, and they have to get
And them for no side, Ahmeds, representing for Just Blacks.
Yes,
Just
so
Blacks
welcome
tell
back,
them
our
say
viewers and
prayer
subs.
words.
Minister of Health,
When the heathens
Christopher
are trying
Tufton,
for
and
you,
dancehall
once you die, you
artist,
hurt.
recording
The most
artist,
I learned
Spice.
for them
So
alone,
viewers and
them
subs,
alone.
I hope
Yeah,
you
man,
enjoyed
Just
this
Blacks, you don't know
video.
your success getting them
Gather
upset,
your
you know what
notes
I mean?
where you need to know. Peace, and we out.